النجاح الوطنية. مع حبي وتقديري لكم، والسلام عليكم.
شكرا للدكتورة سائدة على هذا العرض، تجربة مهمة لجامعة النجاح، والشكر طبعا من الجميع لكم في الجناح الآخر من الوطن. مشاركتين أعتقد أنهم مسجل المشاركة، مسجلين. مشاركة أولى الدكتورة سوزان أحمد من جامعة راتجرز نيوجيرسي الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، ومن ثم الأستاذ الدكتور عبد المجيد قادري من جامعة التكوين المتواصل مركز عنابة الجزائر.
Assalamu alaikum jami'an. As you all know, COVID-19 did not change our daily practices only, but also it altered our priority in using technology to meet our needs during this era. Let me first thank Isra University for this opportunity, and specifically Professor Ahmad Al-Husseini and his team to give me this opportunity to talk to you about our experience in e-learning during this COVID-19 era. I am Professor Suzan Ahmad. I'm assistant professor at Rutgers University. My specialty is nursing informatics, health informatics, systems implementation and optimization, artificial intelligence, mobile health, clinical decision support, and computer simulation. During the next few minutes, I'll be talking about our experience in dealing with e-learning and how we overcome those challenges that we faced during the COVID-19 pandemic. During this session, I'll provide some introduction about Rutgers University. What are the main challenges in e-learning and how did we overcome them? What are the main used methods and tools for e-learning? And at the end, I'll give some tips on e-learning or some recommendations. First of all, let me just introduce Rutgers University. Rutgers University used to be the State University of New Jersey. So it's the main university in New Jersey, and it has 3 campuses. They are located throughout New Jersey, one in Newark, one in New Brunswick, and the last one in Camden. There are 9,000 faculty members, 75 academic departments, over 45,000 undergraduate students, and more than 20,000 graduate and professional students. So it's a big university, is one of the oldest in the United States. What is e-learning? E-learning are courses that offers 100% virtual through using web technology. They structure a sequence of weekly lessons, practices, quizzes, assignments, and exams all through the semester. What philosophy we use? It's constructivist approach that faculty is a facilitator. They guide interactive transformative experience, and they focus on learners that learners feel confident and supported in working on their own with each other, rather than more traditional, which is teacher-centered role, when the teacher enters the classroom and starts giving the information and the students are just receiver of this information. Here the students, they have more interaction role in their learning. The challenges that are mainly recognized in e-learning, the first one is lack of motivation. I'm not sure if you have noticed this, but this is the literature have reported a lot about lack of motivation among students who enroll in e-learning. So what have we done to overcome this issue? We structured clear weekly measurable goals. Every week has its own measurable goals that students have to meet, and we have to provide all the resources to achieve those measurable goals. By assigning also weekly required readings, and those readings they are mainly related to that week's discussion or that week's goal. We use different tools for learning, such as LinkedIn Learning courses, YouTube videos. LinkedIn Learning, there are a huge number of courses there on LinkedIn, and they are good. I ask students to go and to log into certain course, start taking that course. Some courses they are 1 hour, 2 hours, and some of them they are 6, 7 hours. Depends according to how much time I want the students to spend learning this concept. Then I will ask the students to bring a certificate that they attended this course. The good thing about LinkedIn Learning that they can they have to attend the course fully, so they can get the certificate and answer also a quiz or certain quizzes, a series of quizzes that they should answer, pass, and then they can get that certificate. I will ask the students to upload that certificate so they can get the grade for that learning. Also, we have some certain videos on YouTube that we can also use them as an assistant for as part of our audiovisual and multimedia resources. We structure means of accountability such as discussions and threads and provide due dates for that. It's very important to put a discussion. The students, they like a clear question that is related to that weekly module. Then students will go and do the resources. They have to read them, they have to comprehend them, then they will come and answer these weekly questions. Each week has certain question, the students will answer it, and then they will respond to the answers of other students. So by having those kinds of weekly activities, this is a kind of somehow it creates more motivation on students to log into every day and starts reading what are the responses of others, and that we found that it's stimulating for students to get more engaged with their learning process. Connectedness, lack of connectedness is something has been reported also all over the years about e-learning and online education. We have created class discussion boards for students and ask questions to faculty and each other. Those are a kind of more general discussion board for students. They can ask about how they want to submit their assignments, what is the due date, if they want to have some certain question about the course itself. It's not learning or educational question. It's just general question about the course. This will make students, they are more connected. They will start interacting with the instructor or the faculty and the other students. Another way of we're doing it is to create a coffee shop page and encourage students to meet there frequently. It's good to structure some certain time and ask students to go and meet there during this time, and if the faculty knows about this time and has like somehow free time to get engaged with coffee, informal way of discussing life matters, how to tough life of being a student and so on. It's a kind of informal communication with your students. Create virtual office hours and faculty to stick to it. And this is a kind of virtual hours that you put like every week, same as you put like on your office, that I have like office hours from like on Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 10 and so on. You can do that virtually. You can structure a Webex invitation for students for every week office hours, and students, they can come and link into and you are available during this time, because you can expect the student to come into Webex room anytime. Create iterative feedback loop like discussion and responses to peer. It's good like when you do a discussion, all learning management system, they provide you with some options that you want to use in your in interacting with your students and discussing with your student. During the discussion, weekly discussion, I usually ask the student, I usually provide the feature that students can respond, can like, can have a thread of discussion for one answer and so on. So it's good to have this thing so you can also come into this discussion, start asking questions, probing questions, and if you want students to elaborate more on certain topic and so on. Add symbols like such as likes, like putting the like symbol, dislike symbol, smiley face. All those symbols, they can break the ice and they can bring like more connectedness to the discussions. Provide frequent web lectures using Webex and Zooms. Don't make like just the online discussion board is the only way, and the discussions, the other discussion, informal discussions, just the only meeting that students have during the course. Try to make some weekly, monthly, depends according to the level of students. Like, for example, I teach graduate students. I have master's and doctoral students. Those students, they work, so I usually send them an email before the course starts, like 1 month before the course starts, with the certain dates of Webex. Usually I do that monthly, and so they can get relief from their work. Most of the time I do my Webex meetings with the graduate students after working hours. So this is to give the chance for students who cannot go out, like they cannot skip their work during that day, to get the chance to meet. So it's good to know the timing, the good timing for your students that they can meet at, and build your Webex invitation based on that. Create social media pages for each course. I haven't done that. I know some professors, they are doing it. It's like for each course, like on Facebook or Twitter or any social media, you can structure like one course, and all the students, they can join, and at the end you will have like a huge group of students who are currently joining and who already joined before in that group, and they can benefit from each other, and they can interact, and they can learn from each other, they can reflect on their experiences and so on. Isolation is another issue that students are facing during e-learning. They will feel self-isolated, and even faculty, they have this kind of feeling. So it will be good to create channels of communication with faculty, like emails. Try to email them frequently. Every 1 week, just give them an email, send them an email, add announcements, even if the announcement is like about a conference that's happening somewhere in the world, but just try to drop an announcement for them around every week. Also, some students also, they will suffer from isolation. It's good to have some virtual group and assignment activities with chats. So usually I develop a kind of every semester for all levels. This semester, like during the summer, it happened that I taught undergraduate level, and they are somehow different from graduate level students in some aspects. However, it's good also to encourage group projects. Virtual group projects will improve the students' connectedness and to reduce the self-isolation here. It's good to give them an assignment, let them structure their own group page. The faculty should weekly enter those group pages and start like asking questions, following up on the progress of that project, making students more engaged in that group project and try to make them like get well acquainted with each other and start also talking to each other. Use videos or audios recording for sessions. Usually when I do any session, those webinars, those Webex, Zoom sessions, I record them and I post them on that week's module, like for that session. Students, they can come and visit that recorded videos. They will start comprehending the material that was presented during that week more. Also, regular faculty check-ins via discussions. It's good to structure a discussion, then ask students to come and do their answers. But you know, the faculty also has another role here. We should come frequently. I visit every day those discussion boards and I read all the discussions and I put like a kind of answer or ask a question, or I correct the direction of the discussion if I found it, like if I find it's different from what is supposed to go. And at the end of the week's discussion, I put a kind of summary for their answers and start emphasizing on the important points that they have discussed. So that's a kind of reinforcing their learning ability or their learning objective. Frequent emails and announcements. I have talked about announcement. It's very important to always email and communicate with your students. Collaboration is another issue and another challenge that you want your students to be always collaborating with each other. So it's very important to know your students. Students are different. So it's usually every week, at the beginning of the week, I ask students to post a video, an audio, a PowerPoint, using any of those technologies that's available to help us understand who is that person. They should put a picture, because it's very important to know to whom you are talking and to whom you are discussing. What is that? Who is that person? Either post a picture, or if they want to do PowerPoint, or like a video to let them at least show us their faces, what they're doing there, or what are they talented, and their how many brothers, sisters, what is, talk a little bit about their families, talk a little bit about their hobbies. It's a kind of semi-formal way of introducing themselves. And what is their learning styles, if they know what are their learning abilities, if they have anything that they like to achieve during from this course. So it's a kind of semi-structured introduction that will give a chance for everybody to know everybody. As a professor or as a faculty, it's very important also to put a kind of profile at the beginning of the course about in the home page. Who are you? What are you? What's your specialty? What have you done in your life? And so on, so the students will be able to know you. Give chance that students and faculty add comments on each posted discussions. Yes, and this is a kind of, it's a feature that you should activate, that students, they should respond to each other in their discussions. Create small group projects, and I have talked about small projects. This will enhance also collaboration. I found group projects, many students, they have negative idea about those projects, but I find that they are really good in enhancing collaboration, because students, they don't see each other, they don't meet each other, they don't communicate to each other. So this is the best way to give them the chance to know each other through group projects, assignments, and asking them to have a kind of certain realistic, and I structure a certain realistic deadlines and ask them to stick to this deadline. And also I sometimes get engaged with their group assignment discussions. Now for the methods and tools, There are a lot of learning management systems available around the world. Usually we use at Rutgers Canvas and Sakai, but many of the rest of them, they are open source and you can access them. They are not, they are free to use. So I put a link for each one of those, and the PowerPoint will be available with Dr. Ahmad. So try to learn more about those learning management systems and see which one is suitable for you. Also, I have a link here of all those resources, open resources for learning management system. Another supporting methods that we use, like Zoom, Webex for our meetings, Doodle Schedule, we use it for to schedule. I use it to schedule the students' presentations. If I have like 9 students and I have 2 days for their presentation, I will send them a link that each one will put like which one they want to be first, second, third, and so on. For their introduction presentations, I asked them to use PowerPoint, and I post those all on the first weekend module. They can either use PowerPoint, Camtasia, Kaltura, Prezi, etc. All those are very nice, and some of them they're interactive. Some of them they have more into avatar. They can create like an avatar shape for themselves, and they can start talking about themselves and so on. I would like to talk about the clinical education. As you know, this is our college is a clinical college. It produces our graduates are nurses, so they should learn lots of clinical skills. During COVID-19, we had faced an issue for placing our students in clinical areas. So from Aquifer is one solution. It's a web-based clinical simulation. However, it's somehow expensive. I think it costs $75 per student. I think per semester, I'm not sure. The other one, which is CyberPatient, it's a Canadian web-based simulation, and it is free until the WHO announces COVID-19 ends, pandemic ends. So they will start charging. So it's good to start benefiting from this one for the clinical colleges. I know that you have School of Nursing. I'm not sure about medical school. So it's good to explore this one for the students. For tips and recommendations, I found that it's good to add those points here. It's good to have a graded course feedback. At the end of the course, ask the students, assign like one assignment, 1 page. Let the students provide feedback on the course, on online course. How did they feel? What are their favorite assignment? What are assignments? What are their least favorite assignments? How much they achieved their goals from the course? Did they find the course as expected, or it's different from what they expected? So what are the teaching methods? Did they like the teaching methods, the discussions, and so on? It's good to ask those questions and put them like in a structured assignment for the students, and let them turn at the last week of the course paper, 1-page paper, answering those questions. This will give you a feedback, and the students, they have lots of good recommendations. I have one student, she commented about a group discussion, a group project that she wants to propose, or she wants the faculty to propose a kind of students evaluate themselves during the group work assignment. As you know, some students, they are not as active as other students. So like if they will know that this is going to be evaluated by other students, it might create more engagement of the full group. Also plan well for the course structure and syllabus, then transfer it to online. So first prepare your syllabus, make it very much suitable for online presentation, then start presenting it in structuring your online modules. Don't do the opposite, it will not work. Develop a kind of etiquette protocol for proposed participation in online group. It's good to have some kind of protocol that you posted on your home page in your learning management system. This protocol, how to respond to other students, what are the what kind of questions they can ask, give examples of those questions, how to respect each other, how to present themselves in those discussions. Add relevant images and links will attract students. I usually, in each module, I put like one image that represents that week's module. For example, if I'm going to be talking about system development life cycle, I will put that in that week's module. If I want to talk about workflow or processes, I put like a sketch of a workflow and so on. It's good to put, because this attracts the student. The first thing we'll see like those images. So it's good to have one representative image in each home page. Encourage use of tools that enhance collaborations like Proof Hub, MindMaster, Google Docs, and so on. Always consider students' variations in learning. Be sure that each student is different from the other student, and it's very important, as I mentioned, that introduction video or introduction method that you use for your students, it will give you the chance to understand your student. So it's good to have to understand who are your students before you start judging or dealing with them. Thank you very much all for giving this opportunity again. And if you have any further question, please address it to Professor Ahmad Al-Husseini. He has my email, and he can compile all the questions in one email and send them for me, and I will respond to your questions as soon as possible. And I wish you the best of luck in your conference and this scientific gathering, and I will be looking forward to meeting all of you in the future, in person or through Zoom, inshallah. Goodbye.